The Lewis and Clark expedition killed and ate over 200 dogs and every horse they brought with them. The only animal to survive the entire 8,000-mile trip was this legend right here. This absolute goat of a dog was named Seaman, and he was the personal companion of Merriweather Lewis, who had purchased him specifically for the Lewis and Clark expedition. Lewis paid the astronomical sum of $20 for this dog, which at that time would have been half of 1 month's wages for him. Seaman was a Newfoundland breed and an absolute monster of a dog, weighing in at over 150 pounds, and unlike modern-day Newfoundlands that are generally going to be brown or black, many historians believe that at this point in time, these animals were primarily going to be a mixture of both white and black as depicted in contemporary paintings. He was known by members of the expedition as Our Dog and performed many duties during the entire 8,000-mile trip, including collecting squirrels for Merriweather Lewis to eat. He would retrieve geese and deer once they'd already been killed. He even killed an antelope one time that was crossing a river and brought it back to camp. He was known to patrol camp all night long, watching out for bears and warning the expedition members if something happened into camp that was not expected or was not supposed to be there. And one time he even ran a buffalo out of camp that had wandered in while the men were sleeping. Natives were reportedly both shocked at his size and incredibly impressed with his wisdom and his obedience because they'd never seen a dog behave the way that Seaman did. He was so impressive he was even kidnapped by a group of natives on the return trip home, and Lewis and Clark had to send 3 men out in order to retrieve him and bring him back to camp. And they even went to the extreme length of performing surgery on his hind leg when he was bitten by a beaver and had an artery in his leg severed. And all of these incredible deeds are why Seaman's life was spared when every other animal was butchered for food when the men were starving, because he provided these incredible services for everybody there for the entire length of the trip. And upon returning home, Seaman proved that not only was he one of the world's great adventurers, he was also one of the world's greatest emotional support animals. Upon returning from the expedition, Merriweather Lewis was appointed the governor of Louisiana, and he promptly got himself into trouble with some very shady financial dealings. And then in 1809, when he was traveling to Washington to explain exactly what happened with those financial dealings, he was reportedly killed by robbers on the roads. But modern historians don't believe that that's what happened. There's a lot of evidence to show that Merriweather Lewis was both bipolar and manic depressive, and probably took matters into his own hands when his dodgy financial dealings were discovered. But no matter what happened, the death of Lewis was the undoing of his legendary dog Seaman. Because after Lewis was buried, Seaman went to his grave, laid upon it, and refused all food until he died from grief. He's truly one of the goodest boys in all of history and a legend in his own right.